Hello, folks. Nobody but the watchers after the fact here yet. I feel like I could wait to say things until people actually arrive, but then there's this weird empty space for people watching the video later where I'm just not talking and you're just looking at my face. And we don't need any of that. Aha! First person to join. Welcome, welcome. Clearly, getting in the spirit of things, Halloween is 4 days away. So we got some horns on today. Got some skeletons on today. Trying to get in the spirit. It's also, again, lighting, super weird. I apologize. And we got the Rocky Horror shirt on today too. In case you can't read it, it says, "Damn it, Janet." So trying to really convey the holiday spirit of Halloween. It is 10 a.m. We're going to wait one more minute to have more people join, and then we'll get started on today's workout. So today's workout is another strength training workout, stabilization focused, full body, head to toe. All you'll need is a pair of light hand weights. So as always, I am using 2 cans of beans, well, chickpeas, still beans, that are about 1 pound each. So you'll want something under 5 pounds. If you have food cans at home, that works just fine. If you have light dumbbells or hand weights, that works just fine as well, but you don't want anything super duper heavy. And that's all you'll need. Make sure you have some water on hand, a mat. We're going to do some core work on the floor. So mat, towel, rug, something like that. And then that'll be it. That'll be all. Starting next week, we're going to be moving into a new mode of training to keep things interesting for the body because we've been working on stabilization for a little while now. You don't want to get stagnant with your workouts. So we are going to move into a different phase, but if you've been working out with me for a while, it won't be unfamiliar. We are likely either going to be doing circuits or supersets again. One of those two I have yet to decide, but I'm percolating on it. But you can expect that next week. Very exciting. Okay, let's go ahead and get warmed up. Let's make sure that my lighting isn't a mess here because it's always a mess, let's be honest. I don't know why it changes so much week to week. Who knows? Who knows? Okay, we're going to see if that works. We'll start with our usual warm-up. 10 big arm circles going back and 10 arm circles going forward. We'll see how long these little devil horns actually physically stay on my head. I'm going to try not to take them off, but they might fall to their doom depending on what I'm doing. When you get to 10, go in the other direction. And for those of you just joining, I know it's not Halloween today, but it's 4 days until Halloween. And if you can't get into the Halloween spirit 4 days before Halloween, when can you? Gotta keep it interesting. You see my same face every single week. I don't want you to get tired of it. All right, when you're done with your 10 arm circles forward, we're going into a nice wide stance in the legs, reaching down towards the ground. You should feel a bit of a stretch probably on the insides of your thighs and in your hamstrings. And then we're just rotating up towards the ceiling, one side at a time. One hand stays planted on the floor and the other raises up towards the sky. And we're going to do 5 on each side. And then staying in your wide leg stance, come on up to upright. And we're going to be sinking down, alternating sides into our lateral stretch. We are doing lateral squats later. So this is a good warm up for those, stretching out the insides of the thighs, pressing back through the hips so that your weight is staying over your heels. We'll go for 8 on each side today because I'm being selfish. And these muscles are quite tight from my workout on Monday. So loosening up a bit. And then when you get to 8 on each side, feet can come together. Okay, going for some leg swings to loosen up the hips. As always, if you need to hold on to something, please do. Make sure you have plenty of room behind you and in front of you. And then you're just letting the leg swing with no control over its momentum. Ten on each side. When you get to 10 on one side, switch. And when you're done with your 10 on the other side, we're going to finish up with some knee pulls, and then we'll get right into our core work. So grabbing onto the knee, pulling towards the chest. Should get a little bit of a release in the low back as it lengthens and in your glutes. Going for 8 on each side. And when you get to 8 on each side, you're done. Okay, that's the warm-up, folks. So core work today, we are focusing mostly on the obliques. So obliques being the muscles that sort of brace everything here. You have the external and then internal. And they are very good for spinal support. I mean, your whole core is good for spinal support, so they don't have a monopoly on spinal support, but they are good muscles to work. So we're going to start with a Russian twist. If you want to use one of your light hand weights for this, you can. You can also just have body weight. You don't have to have any weight. As always, I will time our 30-second intervals on my stopwatch, so don't worry about timing. Just follow along with me. No particular number of reps here. You are completing them at whatever pace you feel comfortable moving. Pants are falling down, sorry. Okay, so for the Russian twist, 2 options. You can either have your heels planted on the floor and rotate this way. So trying not to rotate your body too dramatically because you don't want to throw out your back. So staying nice and open through the chest, and then just gentle, aiming to tap the hands down to the floor, side to side. If you're not using a weight, you're not tapping to the floor, you're just twisting here. So that's level 1, and then if you want to progress that, you can lift the heels off the floor into a balance, and then you're tapping side to side. But only do that if it doesn't bother your back and if you can keep your chest open and up while you're balancing. So if you feel yourself coming down here with the heels up, don't do it. Put the heels back on the ground. Okay. 30 seconds, 3 sets, with a 30-second rest in between each set. As always, I time the rest breaks, but if you need to take a longer rest time, then you can. But you'll need to time for yourself, since I'm going to be sticking to 30 seconds on my end. But just know that we're doing 3 sets of everything, literally every exercise today, 3 sets. So if you get onto a different timing track, you can just stick to that 3 set rule. Okay, going into round 1, pick whatever level you're going to do in 3, 2, 1, and go. Make sure you keep breathing. Breath is very important in your core work. We have 10 seconds left here. I like to cross my legs sometimes because it helps support. 3, 2, 1, and break. You might notice that your hip flexors, so the center quad, the long, thin center quad, that is also a hip flexor. is going to be very activated on this if you are keeping your legs up, because it is essentially powering that whole hold. So if you feel that getting tired, crossing one ankle over the other can help relieve that a little bit. Other people might say that's cheating, but we don't use those words here. You do whatever makes you feel comfortable as long as your form is still correct. Okay, in 3, 2, 1, round 2. Ten more seconds. And 3, 2, 1, and break. So you'll notice that your rectus abdominis, or like the center muscles, are probably going to be feeling this too, but as you rotate, you should feel your obliques on the sides of your body firing up. 15 more seconds to rest, and then we'll get into our last round of Russian twists before we move on to our second core exercise. All right, go ahead and get ready in 3, 2, 1, last round. Keep those shoulders open, chest up and out. We've got our last 10 seconds here. And 3, 2, 1, and done. All right, moving on. Continuing with the oblique trend, we're gonna do some penguin crunches. You know what's interesting? This is not actually interesting, but the thing about this exercise is that I started calling them penguin crunches, not knowing what they were actually called, because I was like, oh, it kind of makes you look like a penguin. And then it turns out they are actually called penguin crunches in real life. So I'm not just making these things up. You're going to be lying flat on your back with your knees up, feet flat on the ground. You want your feet about hip width apart. Then we're lifting up through the shoulders and reaching down to touch the ankles, alternating sides. Now, what you don't want happening is for your hips to shift side to side as you reach. All you want is this little crunch in the waist. Little crunch side to side. That's it. It's a very, very small movement. It's not going to be a dramatic reach, reach, reach. If you can't reach your ankles, that's okay. We're not aiming to actually touch the ankle if that's not possible mobility-wise. It's just the direction that your hand is going so that you have something to reach towards. But don't make that the ultimate goal if it is not possible for you. 30 seconds. I'm timing on my stopwatch. As always, when you're ready, get in position, and 3, 2, 1, and go. But if you really think about penguins and how they walk, it's like the little side to side tilty waddle shuffle. It's like this, right? It's not my imagination. Less than 10 seconds left. You'll also feel this in your rectus abdominis, but 3, 2, 1, and relax. It will be primarily targeting your obliques. I was trying to come up with a Halloween-themed workout for the day, and I couldn't think of enough exercises. I had a client when I was working in a gym who, for the entire month of October, we tried to replace as many exercise names with renamed Halloween names, spooky names. All right, go ahead and get in position. And it's harder than you'd think. There's the obvious ones. There's 3, 2, 1, go, round 2. The obvious ones like skull crushers, you have deadlifts, there's like zombie walks or zombie kicks, monster walks. What else? That's pretty much it. And then everything else we had to improvise. But I couldn't come up with enough for this entire workout and also still accomplish the things that I wanted to accomplish. 3, 2, 1, and break. Because the thing about deadlifts is that you actually need some weight, and we keep these mostly body weight. So no deadlifts today. We did skull crushers last week, so I didn't want to double up. So we don't really have any Halloween-y exercises today. I'm sorry. 10 more seconds of rest, and then we are heading into our last round of penguin crunches, and then we've got one more core exercise before we get started on the rest of the body. All right, 3, 2, 1, and crunch. Make sure you're keeping your chin tucked so that your neck is supported. If you have your head back, it's going to be really uncomfortable. And 3, 2, 1, and done. Okay. Take a break while I demonstrate our last exercise. We are going for, oh, well, this one is kind of Halloween-y. They're spider planks. They're actually called Spider-Man planks, but we're not getting all superhero up in this business. So spider planks. High plank position, hands right under the shoulders. Now, if this feels uncomfortable for you, you can just hold your plank for the duration of the exercise, which again, we're doing 30 seconds, so that doesn't change. But for these, we're going to be reaching the knee to the outside of the elbow on the same side. So when you're up in your high plank position, the knee is reaching up towards the elbow on the same side. You can think of it like a little spider, like crawling up a wall. And as you can see, that means that this oblique area is getting like a little crunch every time the knee lifts up towards the elbow. Therefore, we are continuing to focus on the obliques. There's logic to my workouts, I promise. 30 seconds, doesn't matter how many you do on each side, try to keep it fairly even, but this is not about speed, this is about form, always, always. So don't try to race through it. And let's go. Remember, you can just hold your plank if the actual movement feels uncomfortable for you. In 3, 2, 1, and up we go. Make sure the hands are staying right under the shoulders. And make sure you're breathing. Don't let your head drop. Neck should stay in line with the spine. 10 more seconds here. There's 3, 2, 1, and break. 30 seconds to rest. So I don't know if the people who do these workouts also do my low impact cardio workouts. They're pre-recorded, but I release them pretty much every Saturday. We're going full costume on Saturday. Well, as much as I can do and still have freedom to move. I haven't decided what yet, but I can't release a workout on Halloween and not be dressed up. Come on, there's little enough joy during quarantine. We have to get our kicks somewhere. Okay, round 2 in 3, 2, 1, oops, go. But if anybody has costume ideas, let me know. It's gotta be something I already own. I have a couple wigs, I have some makeup. Could probably throw together something pretty straightforward. 5 more seconds. And 3, 2, 1, and break. All right, 30 seconds, and then we got one more set. Before we get into some leg work. Well, legs and glutes. Whew. It's very quiet. All right, almost there. Get in position in 3, 2, 1. Last round, let's go. Keep breathing, make sure you're breathing. Nice, deep, even breaths. Head in line with the spine. Hands under the shoulders. Don't let those hips come up too high. We've got 10 seconds. Last 5. And 3, 2, 1. And done. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I'm going to open my window because I'm warm now. Fully, fully warm. Okay, we're going to be standing up for our glute exercise. Grab water whenever you need it, by the way. You never have to wait for an official break or rest time to slake your thirst. You can do that anytime you want. So, for our glutes, we're doing a combo of a glute kickback standing to a lateral raise. This should be familiar if you've done these classes before. We're going for 12 of each on each side. So when I say 12 of each, I mean you're going to be lifting each leg 24 times, but it's going to be 12 combinations. So if you're counting, that's 1 combo. That's 2 combo. You get what I mean. So standing knee is going to be nice and relaxed, no locking out the joint. So the work is going to stay in the quad. Then the other leg, straight back, straight out to the side. Straight back, straight out to the side. From the front, straight back, straight out to the side. Try not to let your foot rotate out as you kick back. There will be a little bit of a natural rotation, but you want it to be as close to a straight line as you can. So we'll do 12 on one side and then 12 on the other. Try not to kick your furniture. Give yourself room to move. As I said, 3 sets of everything. I'm timing 30 seconds of rest between each set, but if you are on a different rest schedule, then you can time your own rest breaks and proceed through your 3 sets at your own pace. Okay, counting your own reps because I am unreliable. Let's go, starting with round 1. Either leg can start. If you need to hold on to something for balance, like the wall, that's fine. Just try not to let the upper body tilt forward. Stay nice and upright. If you have resistance bands at home that go around your ankles, you can use them for this too. Just because I designed these workouts to be body weight focused does not mean that you can't use weights or equipment that you have to amp up the challenge. All right, other side. When you're done with your first side, and when you get to 12 on that second side, take a little break. Your standing leg should be feeling this work too. I would start on the side that you just finished on for your second set so that you're alternating which leg is getting a little bit more work, because the leg that has done this work first is going to be a little bit more tired when it's shifted into the supporting position, and you'll feel a little bit more of a burn on the second round. So try to switch them out. I forgot to time a rest break. See, I'm not even reliable with that. I swear sometimes my brain has holes. Anyway, we're going to go for about 10 more seconds of rest, and then we'll head into round 2, starting on the other side. All right, whenever you're ready, get in position, and we are heading into our second round. If you have trouble with balance, it really helps to find a spot on the floor in front of you to just stare at and then fixate on it, and it will help keep you balanced. And it will help keep your head from dropping too. And when you get to 12 on one side, switching to the other side, no breaks in between these, going right into it. And when you get to 12 on the other side, we're taking a break. Second break. And one more set to go. I'm remembering my timer this time, and we'll complete one more set. One more set. My beautiful pothos plant over here, her name's Audrey, has been exploding during quarantine, and she's starting to grow out into my workout space. So I'm gonna really need to be careful. Anytime I do arm stuff out here, I start whacking into her. Okay, going into our third and final set here. Whenever you're ready, I'm gonna start back on my original side, again, to change out which leg is getting a little bit more work. So whenever you're ready. And when you hit 12 on one side, going for 12 on the other. Remember to not let that standing knee lock out. And when you hit 12, give yourself a break. Grab some water if you would like some water. Stay hydrated. As the weather gets cooler, depending on where you are, but as the weather gets cooler, it gets harder to actually want to drink water. So make sure that you're not forgetting to hydrate, even if it means having some herbal tea to warm yourself up. That counts as fluid intake. Okay, we are moving into some narrow to wide squats, which again, we've done these before. These should be old hat to you if you've taken this class previously. So when I say narrow squat, I don't mean like here. I'm talking hip width. And then wide is going to be closer to a sumo, but not quite as wide as a sumo squat. So starting with your hip width squat, wide squat. That is 1 rep. Again, we're doing a combo, so we're counting each combo as 1 rep. We're doing 15 reps total. Now you have the option of alternating how you step out into your wide squat. You don't necessarily always want to be stepping out on one side repeatedly. So think about alternating sides, etc. Okay? Try to keep the toes pointing straight ahead. If you have knee pain, knee problems, you can have a little bit of a turnout in those toes and a slightly wider stance in both squats. But in general, you want to try to keep those toes parallel, like you're standing on train tracks, and then trying to keep the chest nice and open and upright so you're not folding forward here. You want to stay open to the world. All right, we're going for 15 reps. So technically 30 squats because I love you. Whenever you're ready, counting on your own at home. because I can't be trusted. And go. These do not have to be super low. So if a trainer ever tells you that a squat doesn't count unless your butt is on the ground, that trainer is wrong, and you should call them on it. There are so many different squat levels that you can do that are 100% valid. You do not have to even parallel. It just depends on how your body moves and what feels good for your body. So again, if you have knee issues, if you have hip issues, you're not going to want to be down super duper low. It's not healthy for you. One of my biggest pet peeves, this happens in nutrition a lot as well, is sort of like the one size fits all. Like, there is this correct way to do it. Like, you have to eat a ton of protein. Well, eating a ton of protein isn't great for everybody. It depends on who you are. So squat depth, get as low as you can. It doesn't have to be as low as the next person. All that being said, I have completely lost count. So I'm going to do one more on each side because that feels right. And take a break. 30 seconds to rest, and then we're heading into our second round. This is the problem. I get yammering, and I lose my train of thought, or I follow a different train of thought and lose the one that I'm supposed to be keeping track of. But otherwise, it's just total silence and me doing squats on the screen. Who needs that? Who, I ask you. Okay, let's go into our second round. Now, use the lessons that you learned on the first round. Maybe the narrow squats felt really, really uncomfortable. So maybe you want to widen your narrow squat and then make your wide squat super wide. That's okay. You can adjust to how you feel. So I was doing my squats about here on the first round, and my ankles were hating it. Hating. So I am going to go shoulder width and then super wide on this round. So use whatever feels good for you. As you get older, your body changes. Whenever you're ready, go ahead and start. And I have found, I say this a lot, I don't mean to say that like I'm old, because I'm not. But I have found since passing 30 and since running into my FMF diagnosis that my joints are just not happy with things that I used to be able to do. So knees click, ankles hurt, and you have to adjust, and that's okay. You're still doing a workout, you're still strengthening your muscles. It all counts. When you get to 15, take a rest. Shake out your quads, your glutes, whatever's feeling this the most. One really nice stretch for the ankles, like the front of the ankle, is pointing your toe, bracing your toe against the floor behind you, and then putting pressure into that back leg so that you stretch out the front of the foot. It feels fantastic. Really only works if you're barefoot or in socks though. When you have shoes on, there's too much interference. I really hope that most people are doing these workouts barefoot, by the way. If you're wearing shoes, unless they're necessary for foot support, like if you have plantar fasciitis or something like that, take them off. Please, I beg you. It's so much better to do this stuff on your own 2 feet. It helps with your balance. It helps with your grounding. It's the way we are supposed to be. Okay, last round, whenever you're ready. I'm not like a weird, we need to live like caveman person, but I do believe that if more people went barefoot, there would be far fewer foot issues in the world. And we'd be happier because you'd have your toes in the grass more. And you'd be closer to the earth. When you get to your 15, take a rest. Okay, that was set 3 of 3. You can relax for a minute. We have one more for the legs. I'll make sure we're doing okay on time. Okay, we're fine. And then we will get into our upper body, which we're starting with push-ups, always. So I mentioned at the beginning we were going to be doing these lateral squats. That's what we're doing next. So same as we do in the warm-up, except focusing a little bit more on the movement as a muscle worker and less as a muscle stretcher. So toes straight forward, again, unless you have significant knee pain or knee problems or a knee replacement, something like that, in which case you can have a little bit of a turn out in the toes. Otherwise, toes pointing straight ahead, then you're coming down, pressing back through your butt. Upper body's gonna come forward. So unlike the squat, it doesn't matter if you're folding forward on this one, you don't have to stay super upright. But the goal is to get down a little bit lower than feels entirely comfortable, so that as you come back up to standing, you actually feel some work. So this should be working this whole thing right here, glute, quad, all that good stuff. And then you should feel a stretch on the inside of your opposite thigh. So as you're coming down, make sure that your straight leg is staying totally straight. So from the front here, you don't want this sort of bend happening in the knee. You want to be pressing back enough so that this knee is totally locked back. I know I say never lock your knees, but in this case, because you're not putting weighted pressure on the knee, it's okay. So let it go totally straight as you come down. We're going for 12 on each side because these do take a while. If you want to level these up, you can step into them every single time. They are going to take longer that way. I'm keeping mine in a lateral squat position rather than a lateral lunge, but you can take these any direction that you want. That's it. That's all. Let's get to it. Nice wide stance. We're doing all on one side and then all on the other, unless you really feel strongly about alternating sides, in which case you can alternate sides. But otherwise, let's do everything at once and then everything at once. 12 per side. 3, 2, 1, go. And again, this is about form and not speed. So if you're trying to get these done fast and keeping them really shallow, go slow and get deep. That is what we're looking for on these. Speed is completely irrelevant. Unless you're going too fast, in which case it's relevant because it's not good. And you might find that one side is more comfortable than the other, maybe stronger, maybe more mobile, maybe both. My right side is far better equipped to do this than my left, but that doesn't mean you should decrease the challenge on the side that feels less good. If anything, you want to make sure that it's equal to the side that feels more confident. So make sure you're pushing it just a little bit, sort of right past the edge of your comfort zone, not too far out of it. I don't know if you can hear my knee popping, nice little percussion in the background. Hands can be anywhere, by the way. If you want to hold weights for this, you can. You can either have them up at the chest or you can have them down, reaching towards the floor. When you get to 12 on each side, take a break. I'm timing 30 seconds for myself, but you, my dears, can take however long you need. If that was a piece of cake and you want to jump right back into your second set, don't wait for me. Go for it. Go for it. I can't see what you're doing anyway. So you have total freedom. Total freedom. Okay. Heading into round 2. Nice wide stance if you're ready. I'm going to start on the left side this time because I started on the right last time. I like to alternate. Whenever you're ready, go ahead. I actually think I will add my light weights to this just for fun. And when you get to 12 on one side, moving to the other side. I wish these horns looked less like cat ears. I guess they're a little too pointy to be cat ears. When you get to 12 on the other side, take a break. Take it out. One more set before we dive into our push-up adventure. I know I do push-ups every single week, and I always have the same reasoning, so I'll say it again. They are one of the most effective body weight exercises that you can do for your upper body when you don't have any equipment. Now, you need to be careful. You don't want to do them every day. I see a lot of these challenges of like doing 100 push-ups every day for 30 days. It makes me exhausted that is considered okay. I see it with everything, like pull-ups, squats, like whatever. You should never be doing repetitive work on the same muscle group every single day in a row without rest. You shouldn't be working out every single day in a row without rest. It's so unhealthy. All right, last round on each side, counting for yourselves while I continue my rant. Basically, you're just putting repetitive stress on the same muscle group over and over again without giving it time to heal and rebuild. So you're basically constantly tearing the muscles down, and people see results, but it's usually people who are not incredibly muscular before, and so you see a fairly dramatic difference because you will gain muscle, but not the right way, not the healthy way, not the way that's good for your body. So anyway, my point being, push-ups are a compound movement, meaning that they engage many, many different muscle groups by themselves, rather than like a more isolated accessory movement. And so they're very effective, but you have to balance them with exercises that work out the opposing muscles. So they're working out your chest muscles quite a bit, and your shoulders, and your triceps, your core, and all that good stuff. But if you don't work out your back, you're going to end up with just like super tight pec area and very little strength in your back. So while it's good to include them frequently, they shouldn't be the only upper body exercise that you rely on for strength, which is why we do a variety. But yeah, if you ever have friends that are like, oh, I'm going to do like the squat challenge where I do whatever, 100 squats every day for 30 days, or you start with like 50 or something and you add more every day, tell them not to. It's really unwise. Really, really unwise. The internet is full of unhealthy trends. All right, when you're done with your 12 on each side, you are done with your legs. So let them rest. Set aside your weights, whatever you're using for weights. We don't need them quite yet. So for the push-ups, many, many options. The version that I'm doing is a rotating push-up. So we're going to be, let me show you, rotating into a side plank between every single push-up. We've done these before in class. So you can do these easily from the knees or the toes. Basically, you're coming down into your push-up and then rotating up into a side plank, and then push-up other side, push-up original side. I'm doing 10. I would recommend staying somewhere in that range, and that means 5 rotations to each side, not 10 to each side. You can do half on the knees and half on the toes. You can do everything on the knees, everything on the toes. If this feels uncomfortable for you on any level, whether it's strength, mobility, just basic comfort levels with an exercise, you can do regular push-ups, and you can do them any manner that pleases you. So you can be on your toes, you can be on your knees, you can be on your knees against a couch, against the wall, against a countertop, from your toes. Multitudinous options for push-up progressions and regressions. So pick the one that feels okay for you. If you want to try doing the rotation when you're against the wall or against a countertop, you can. Just be very careful, because if you're on a countertop, the surface that you're rotating on is going to be a little bit less stable than, a swath of flat, solid floor. If you're on the edge of something, just make sure that your hand is gripping really firmly, so that you're not going to slide or fall or hurt yourself. I would recommend not doing fewer than 6 and not doing more than 20. So whatever in that range feels right for you. If you like odd numbers, pick an odd number. You can do 7, you can do 13, whatever feels good. But you don't want to stray too far beyond that range. If it's too hard and you can't do 6, then you need to regress a step and pick a level where you can do at least 6. If it's too easy and you can do 20, no problem, then you need to advance it so that it becomes harder. Got it? All right, let's do our first round. Somewhere between 6 and 20, I'm doing 10. Whatever level feels good for you, counting for yourselves. Whenever you're ready, get to it. Now make sure that your head is not dropping, and make sure that your lower back is not giving out. So keep your butt tucked under. Keep that pooping dog posture where your pelvis is tilted underneath so that your lower back is supported and your core is engaged. Okay, round 1. Make sure you're breathing. Okay, you basically want to get to the point where you cannot do another rep. That should be the rep range that you're going for. So if you're like, I think I can do 6, and you get to 6, and there's a little voice in the back of your mind that's like, that wasn't that bad. Do 2 more, do 3 more, do 4 more. Keep going until you can't, until you get to the point where you're like, maybe I could squeeze out another rep. And if it's a maybe, stop. That's your sweet spot. Okay, timing our rest break. We're going a little bit longer than 30 seconds because I personally need longer than 30 seconds to rest my arms between push-ups. We'll go for like 40, and then we're heading into our second round of leg push-up. I can sit here and stare quietly at the camera. Smile. Hi, guys. I hope everybody has voted, because if you're in California, I know you got a mail-in ballot. I know you did. We all do. Please vote. Please, 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 please. If you're not in California, I hope you have a way to vote that is safe. Anyway, let's not get into that right now. We'll go into our second set. Challenge yourself. Whenever you're ready, get into it. When you hit your number, take a rest. I didn't really go into super detailed push-up form talk. I feel like the same people do these every single week. So I think you know my spiel by now about correct push-up form. But I do want to check in and make sure that people are not coming out with the elbows. If your hands are getting the urge to turn in as you come down in your push-up, that's a sign your elbows are going the wrong direction. So if your hands are planted as they should be, just fingers facing forward, your elbows have to be here or even narrower. We want them right about here. So think 45 degrees. You can adjust as you see fit, but if you're coming down and it feels like your hands really want to do this, it's because you're bringing your elbows out too far. We've got one more set. I forgot to time the rest break. Who cares? It's okay. It's casual. We're casual. We don't stand on ceremony here. Last 10, and then we're going to get into some opposing muscle work for the back and the shoulders. Whenever you're ready, last set. And when you're done, take a bow, give yourself a pat on the back. I'm going to move aside my mat. We're not going to be down on the floor again. If you like standing on your mat or whatever you're on, you can keep it. I just get annoyed with having my dirty feet all over it. So we'll clean it later. All right. Moving into some reverse flies. So you'll need whatever you're using for your light hand weights. We've also done these before. We're getting to a point where very little we do will be brand new. So we're thinking about perfecting I shouldn't say perfecting, because nothing is perfect, mastering the exercises that we do. So reverse fly, you got one weight in each hand. You are pressing back through the hips to lean forward. So what I see a lot with clients when I say lean forward is this. No, no, no. We are closing the door behind us with our butt so that the back stays flat. Look how straight my spine is. That is what we're looking for. We don't want to be arched. I can't even arch my back like that. But anyway, you don't want an arch in your lower back. So think about keeping the glutes engaged, core engaged. Weights are in front of you. And then you're lifting out and squeezing the shoulder blades. So arm view from the front. Here, out and squeeze. Out and squeeze. So you've got a little bit of relaxation in your elbow. We're not going locked here. You want to feel it backs of the shoulders and between the shoulder blades as they squeeze. I'm going to go for 20 of these because my weights are very, very, very light. If you feel like 15 is good, do 15. If you feel like 12 is good, do 12. Try not to do fewer than 12 because we're going for stability on this. So you want to go between 12 and 20 reps on your set. Whenever you're ready, push back through your butte and go. Don't let the neck drop and don't try to crane the head up. You want to keep the neck in line with the spine. All right, take a break when you're done. I'm timing 30 seconds. 20 feels good for me. I can feel my shoulders, backs of the shoulders lighting up. I can feel the shoulder blades getting a nice, effective squeeze. And again, same as on your push-ups. If you decided on 15 reps, you're like, all right, 15 sounds good, done. When you get to 15, if you're like, that wasn't too bad, do 5 more, go for the 20. If you get to 15 and you're like gasping and struggling, cut it back to 12. It works both ways. Okay, going for round 2 when you're ready. Next set. And make sure you're breathing. Try to exhale as you lift up. Not every single time, but try to time your exhale so that when you are exhaling, you are also lifting up. And when you finish your set, take a break. And breathe. All right, these shoulders are feeling some things. They're feeling a certain type of way. It's a good thing. Got one more set. Then we've got one more for the shoulders, and then we are done. Time, check. Ooh, we're running over time. Go freaking figure. I cannot keep these workouts to an hour. Cannot. As we move into our next phase, either circuits or supersets, I have yet to decide. Maybe circuits, because I feel like we just did supersets. They will be shorter, I promise. Well, I can't promise anything, but they will be shorter probably. When you finish your set, take a break. Grab some water. We'll probably skip our cool down today, so please cool down at home. just for the sake of time, because we are running over quite a bit. All right. Last exercise of the morning or afternoon if you're on the East Coast. We're doing a combination, another combination, I love my combos, of a lateral shoulder raise, like so, to a front shoulder raise, like so. So from a different angle, out to the side, up to the front. You will notice that core is staying engaged. Of course, like my butt sticks out, so it looks like there's an arch in my low back, but there isn't. If I was arching my low back, it would be way out there. So tuck under, core engaged, out to the side, keeping the shoulder blades engaged so that when you have your front raise, it's not here. See that terrible curve in my upper back? Remove it. Okay, we're going for 10 of each, so 20 total. So 10 combos. Whenever you're ready, 3, 2, 1, and go. So this counts as 1 and 2, etc. I'm doing a couple more because that's too easy, but you can do as many as you would like. All right, I did 12 because 10 just wasn't enough. 12 wasn't really enough either. I might do 14 on the next one. Just to play around with it, timing 30 seconds for our break, then going into round 2, and then one more after that, and we're done. Almost there, almost there, almost there, almost there. Halfway through our rest, 15 more seconds. As always, I'll take this moment to say, if you have video requests, leave them in the comments. I do 2 videos a week now because that's manageable, but if people have requests for shorter videos like nutrition talks or tips or non-workout videos that are just like how to put together a program for yourself, even though that helps put me out of a job. I am happy to make those kinds of things too. They do take time, but quarantine has given me more time than I had before, so I'm happy to tackle some of that stuff. The only thing I don't do like, so anti-diet, and I don't really do weight loss either. So if your focus is on the aesthetic, it's not really my jam. I'm happy to like bust diet myths and bust body fat myths, but yeah, we're not going to go into the like the how to burn fat and shed pounds kind of thing. Nope, nope, nope. I lost count. I'm just going to do this until my shoulders don't want to, which is going to be, I think, 1 more of each and then break. Okay, last rest, and then going into our final set, and then you are free to go about your days, which have already started, obviously, but you know. Halfway through our rest, 15 more seconds, and then we'll tackle our last set. When I see you all next week, it will be the day after the election, so we'll see what kind of mood I'm in. I am not promising that I will be in a condition mentally to do a workout class. I will try to, because I know it's such a good stress relief. It's a good distraction, but TBD. We'll say TBD for next week, depending on emotional state. And when you're done with your reps, you are done with your workout. Thank you so much for joining me today. Again, TBD on next week. I'm sorry. It's just potentially going to be too rough, but we'll see. We'll see. I'm going to try to do it. And we'll definitely have a nice little Halloween cardio out this weekend. So keep an eye out for that. And if you have ideas for simple costumes that can be made from stuff at home, please put them in the comments so that I can steal your ideas. It also has to be something that I can work out in, but I can work out in most things. So very little limitation. All right, please stay safe, stay healthy, stay indoors when you can, eat good food, get good rest, drink water, and I will see you all next time.